Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's mailbag time. Friendly reminder, this was filmed on Tuesday, so if anything that you see in today's show pops up and you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is this guy talking about? We film these on Tuesday, and we do it every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those noties. Rashissimo, we need a right tackle. I'm surprised Andre James turned it around. Andre James has been playing really well, and he was one of the guys that I featured in my players to build around. He's been playing at a very high level. He was rated as the best center according to PFF this past week, and he continues to get better and better and better. But you're right. Right tackle is a major, major need for Las Vegas right now. Let's go to Amanda Rios. Thoughts on my Carr trade idea? Okay. Send Carr to Washington where he can rejoin Del Rio. What would you want in return? Usually when we talk about crazy trade ideas, people are definitely not afraid to rip me apart. So you're saying send Carr to Washington where he can join Jack Del Rio. Remember, Del Rio was the old head coach of the Raiders with DC. And what would I want in return? I'd probably want a first and a third round pick in 2022, and maybe you can squeak out a few extra more picks. I don't really know. So shout out for Sam for making this on the fly. The Raiders, they would get a first and a third. Washington gets Derek Carr. One of the top trending things actually going around Twitter right now is what Colin Cowherd had to say on his show, that he personally thinks that the Raiders would be able to get, in quotes, a boatload of picks for Derek Carr. I don't know what a boatload of picks personally is. I think if you're able to get a first and a third round pick, you'd be very happy. But another thing that I would consider if I was the Raiders is maybe taking a first-round pick in 2022 and taking extra draft picks in 2023. Definitely something to keep in mind. Now, if the Raiders pull off a crazy trade like this, or if we get any more updates on DC and what his future is going to be, all I want you guys to do is just take a second, look underneath the video. There's a big subscribe button. Please go ahead and click that. We got free videos here, and we're going to be doing free videos for the next 365 days. I'm also trying to get to 100,000 subs, but we take a lot of pride in being able to keep you guys up to date. We take a lot of pride in being interactive. No other Raiders YouTube channel, honestly, no other sports channels do what we do. So take a second and please subscribe, support us. Let's go to Big Time Willie. Carr deserves Adams. Do you wait for that? I'm not going to make my quarterback decision based off a wide receiver. DeVonta Adams is an amazing player and would definitely help the Raiders, but your quarterback is the most important position on the field. I'm going to figure out what I have at quarterback. Then, once you make that decision, then you go into free agency, and then you go into the draft. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, what are we going to do with Carr? Can we get him? Can we get Devante Adams? Oh, you missed Devante Adams in free agency. We still have DC, and then you go into the draft. The best way that you're going to get the most value out of DC is making that decision before free agency, because once free agency is over, quarterbacks move around, teams know what you're going to do then, the trade value goes down. Make the decision on DC before free agency. That's where the trade value is at its absolute highest. Zornell Malone, you're next up here on the Raiders Report. We need an impact player on defense like Khalil Mack. We went to the playoffs with Khalil Mack. You're right, and the Raiders should have never gave up on Khalil Mack, because now when you go back and you look at it, the Raiders 100% lost the Khalil Mack trade. I don't care what anyone says. They 100% lost it, period, point blank. You lost the trade. The Raiders should have gave that money to Mack. Mack wanted to be a Raider, but you're right. They need an impact player. Why? You can always use an impact player. The issue is this. I guess not even an issue. Yannick Ngakoue been a stud. Max Crosby's been a stud. You need an impact player at your defensive tackle position, and if you can find another edge rusher that can give you just that extra boost, you can absolutely do that. But Khalil Mack, I do miss him, and I would love to see what Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby, and Khalil Mack would look like, but you got to face it, you ain't getting Mack. Now, we got a big-time Week 15 game, and I know a lot of people have already started to check out, but I will go ahead and say this. Every single game from here on out, it is very, very important for Raider Nation to watch. That way you can make the proper decisions in the offseason. If you don't watch the final month of football, as far as I'm concerned, you don't deserve to get your 2 cents on the show, or really any 2 cents going forward about what the Raiders should do in the offseason. If you're quitting now, go. Get out. I don't want to hear from you. But I do want to know who you got in this week's game. Type R for the Raiders, or why don't you go ahead and type B for the Browns. Next one coming in here is from Anthony Morales. Get a solid right tackle, left guard in free agency, then go get Adams to help Carr be successful in the draft. Go all defense right. Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree. I'm kind of stuck on, I'm moving on from DC. I think the way that you have the best chance of being successful in the long term, and I'm not just talking about making the playoffs, I'm not just talking about being mediocre. The ultimate goal should always be to win a Super Bowl. And I think the way that you do that is trade Derek Carr, get draft capital, invest in a young quarterback, hopefully he hits, and then build a team around him. That's what you do. And you're going to have the money to be able to do it this offseason. All right, Doug Pederson experience and bring that discipline. One thing that definitely you're seeing that the Raiders coaching staff doesn't have now is discipline. Rich Bisaccia, Greg Olson, they all want to be buddy-buddy with people, and instead of playing the best players, they're worried about upsetting people and ruining friendships. I don't want coaching decisions to be made like that anymore. That's not how you win successful games. Doug Pederson, he wouldn't do that. You literally saw him stand up to Carson Wentz. So I like this idea. But here's the other thing to that. Will Pederson come to the Raiders? He's one of my top head coach candidates, no doubt about it. But you need somebody that's not afraid to lay their foot down because, again, what I've seen with a young football team that has a quarterback like DC, not that he's not a leader, but Carr's definitely not going to lay his foot down and lay into anybody. You need to have a head coach that's able to do that. Now, if anybody out there wants to bet on the Raiders or bet on NFL games, take advantage of this deal while it lasts. Chatsports.com/Raiders, promo code Raiders 125. It's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. So if you put down $100, you get $125 for free. Put down $200, $250 for free. $500, $625 for free. To make sure that you believe that this is the best deal on the internet, I am also going to give you a free Raiders jersey. Yes, a free Raiders jersey, but it's for first-time BetUS users only. If all you heard was free jersey, email me, jersey@chatsports.com for the details. We got Darren Waller, Max Crosby, and Josh Jacobs jerseys available as it stands right now. Now, this deal is not going to last forever. In fact, it's probably only going to last this week. Maybe only until Christmas. I don't know. My bosses, they tell me. But if you want a free jersey and if you want an awesome deal, remember, put down $100, $125 for free, chatsports.com/Raiders, promo code Raiders125, then email me your account number, jersey@chatsports.com for a free jersey. What up, B-Manny? Hey, Mitch. Do you know who Richard Sling is? If not, Richard Slay, excuse me. If not, ask your team at the studio. So, I've been told that he's a freakishly large human being. What, like 7'2", Sam? Is that what you were telling me? He's 7'2". So what you're about to hear is producer Sam.
Yeah, I did a little bit of a Wikipedia deep dive on Richard Slye just in case I hadn't heard him either, so I was just kind of curious. DT in 1967, drafted in the 10th round by the Raiders, 7 feet 2 inches tall, a.k.a. 1.5 Mitches.
Holy shit, that's a big-ass dude. That would be a big sleigh. That's all I got to say. All right, let's go to Anthony Morales. Trade Jacobs instead of Carr. Jacobs easily replaceable. Not DC, right. I mean, Jacobs is obviously much more replaceable than Derek Carr. The issue is this. I don't see the Raiders trading Jacobs. He's going to be on the final year of his contract, which is going to be around $3 million. And personally, I think for how good of a running back Jacobs is, $3 million is worth it. You got to face it, though. He's not going to come back in 2023. The Raiders aren't going to extend him. But you are going to move on from Carr more than likely, I would say, this offseason. Let's go to Project 1337. With JJ having a bad year, do we extend him if he's asking for 5 to 7 per year? No. The Raiders would be dumb to extend Josh Jacobs. And not that I don't like Josh. He's a great running back. He's one of the better running backs in the league. I don't know if he's top 10, but he's got a ton of injury issues. I'm also not going to blame the bad year on Jacobs. Did he have a bad fumble this past week? Yes. But the run-blocking offensive line right now is ranked 31 in the National Football League, behind only the Houston Texans. That's the reason why Josh isn't able to run effectively. But in terms of paying a running back $5 to $7 million per year, I'm going to say no, because running backs are very easy to be able to replace in this league. Now, with the Raiders game up against the Cleveland Browns on Saturday, I am going to be live. We're going to be doing a watch party, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're tuning in. But go ahead. Let me know your score prediction. The last time I checked, the Browns 3-point favorites. The over-under in this game was at 40 points. I expect to see a lot, and I mean a lot of running. Bad weather conditions, going to be windy. Might even be some rain flowing in as well. Let me know down in the comments your score prediction. Now, if I don't get to your questions, just go ahead. I'm sorry in advance. You can always hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. I just saw a big-time super chat come in from Mercedes Renz. If you guys want to see a funny picture of me and Mercedes Renz dancing, doing this virtual thing during the Cowboys weekend, also check it out on my IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's go to Wild on 14. Did you hear about Divine Diablo calling out some players for laying down and coming to practice and not putting their effort during the past game? I did hear about it, and actually I talked about it in my news and rumors segment during today's live. So Sam, if you want to go ahead and pull up that quote graphic. But yeah, I liked what Diablo had to say, and I want guys who show up every single week and put their heart out there, because that's what being a Raider is all about. For those of you that haven't seen Divine Diablo's quote, here it is. Personally, I feel like a lot of players, or people, just for lack of a better term, just fold. They just lay down, come to practice, not ready to practice. I know I'm a rookie, but I don't want my teammates to do that. I want to make sure they're ready to practice, and we bring that intensity every single day. When I heard that quote from Divine Diablo, dude, I almost went out and bought a Double D jersey, number 5, slap it on my back right now. I love that type of energy, but also I think it brings some truth, because the way that the Raiders played to get blown out like that kind of shows that players weren't showing up, and coaches are afraid to actually tell guys, hey, you got to do certain things, and you need a head coach that knows how to be a leader instead of trying to hurt people's feelings. All right, we got oh my. All right. Who is a free agent right tackle the Raiders could sign in 2022? If I'm trying to be realistic and the Raiders are going to have money, I'm going to go out and say I'm so sick and tired of watching how bad the right tackles have been this year for the Raiders. I'm not going to be afraid to go out and try to get one of the top guys out there. Personally, in terms of age, in terms of overall how good he's been, I think it's Morgan Moses. If I were to be the Raiders front office right now, I'd probably offer Moses a 3-year deal. He's 30 years old. And one thing I've seen recently, you can have solid offensive line play in your late 30s. What Trent Williams has been able to do this season is insane. But I'd probably offer him like 3 years, maybe $22, $23, $24 million. Lock him in as a solid right tackle. Let Alex Leatherwood learn next to him. Let's go to James Taylor. What do you think about Howie Long as our new GM? Could that old school attitude pay off for us like Elway did for Denver? I think it really comes down to does Howie Long want that job? The top GM that I personally want, if you're going to go that route, I think Charles Woodson would be an interesting option, though he seems to be pretty happy with his wine and whiskey business. It's Louis Riddick for me. If you're going to ask me if we're going to move on from Mike Mayock, I want Louis Riddick. That's the guy I would want. What up, Mercedes Renz? If Raiders sign Harbaugh, will James come to Raider Nation? Probably not. I don't know if James is more of a Michigan fan more than a Harbaugh fan. I don't know exactly. All I know is this. He would be really upset because on his show, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, my boss James, he runs a Michigan show, big-time Wolverine fan. He does Harbaugh heads. Just like I used to do Chucky heads, he does Harbaugh heads. So we've been kind of joking around with each other of what exactly we would end up doing, but we'll ultimately see. But maybe we'd have to go down to Tijuana at a place that you know to discuss what we would do. What up, Alex Thompson? Carr not the problem when your slot receiver is wide receiver 1. You can't blame the quarterback. I don't care what people say. Carr's top 5 quarterback. Needs an O-line. He's a leader. You're right. Carr isn't the problem, and I've gone on record in saying that, but I also don't think he's the solution either. If you're a top 5 quarterback, I still think you should be able to win when your offense isn't totally what it is. And the other part about being a quarterback is being a leader. The way that this team has folded, the way that this team has given up, I think that kind of speaks for it. But unfortunately, I'm going to 100% disagree with you. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's probably a fringe 12 to 15 guy right now. But you're right. He's not the problem, but he's also not the solution either. Jose Delgado, the Raiders need the number 1 head coach on your list. Mitch, let's clean house. The Raiders start fresh. I'm with you. I want Brian Dable. If you guys want the Raiders to go hire Brian Dable, send this to them on Twitter and Instagram.